Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you again to all those of you who viewed my first video and who visited my channel. Thanks for the support and the encouragement. So it was quite funny watching the video again and again and again, and obviously critiquing myself and wishing that I had not done it. So that was quite funny. I think it's amazing how we are so scared of being vulnerable as human beings, which brings me back to partly why I started the channel, was to share my vulnerabilities with you guys and to share my journey, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Ne? And it dawned on me that I started this journey officially at the beginning of July. Now, 3 months in, it's been just nice to reflect back on what has happened in the past 3 months. I thought I'd just share that with you and how I'm feeling and what space I'm in and what has been up and what has been the down of the past 3 months. So I think the first thing is the fact that when you are used to being an employee, you have someone that you report to on a daily basis, and you have a clear carved out job description. When you move from that to working for yourself, it's a very different ball game. I think also real estate is a business and journey or a space. You don't actually have you self-employed, you self-governed, and as appealing as that is, they say we must be careful what we ask for, because when I started getting that, it just became amazing to me how not easy it has been to be structured in an environment where I'm not accounting daily to a boss and I'm not working for a salary. So that is, I think, one of the biggest challenges. And I found it very funny that I've delayed updating my LinkedIn profile from my last role of being a program manager to being an entrepreneur. So that's even the joke of it. I can't even pronounce my new job title. So when we were growing up, I'm Xhosa from South Africa, and when we all the years, the word entrepreneur has, I've always pronounced it as entrepreneur. So now I actually Google the word, and while driving my daughter back from school in preparation for this video, I've been practicing to pronounce it the way I hear people pronouncing it now, and I am failing dismally. Like, I think I've repeated it like close to 100 times, but still I feel very uncomfortable with my pronunciation. So this is the horrific part of the journey now. Say, not only have I bet all my everything on myself, I now can't even pronounce my new job description. Isn't that scary? Job title, not even job description. So I'm gonna give it a try. So I'm now an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur. Help me, Lord, help me, people. But yeah, so it's a struggle. So it's one of my fears as a control freak to say, what are you doing? You are betting your life and everything on something that is so out of reach or out of touch with who you've been all these years. You can't even pronounce it. So that's that red devil on my side, on this side, trying to bring me down, trying to discourage me and demotivate me. So I must be honest with you that more than anything, I'm battling with myself. I've battled with myself these past 3 months, from my waking up routine to my sleeping routine to when I get to the office, what I'm supposed to do. And even though I've now gone through the training to teach me the theory of what I'm supposed to do, putting it in practice, knowing what are the right things to invest time in versus the wrong things, and then just battling with this whole feeling of being unsure of myself. So I listened to a video on YouTube of one of Steve Jobs's commencement speeches at some graduation at one of the Ivy League universities in the States. And he was speaking about the time when he was fired from Apple and how that eventually became the best thing that could have happened to him, but how he felt uncertain and unsure of himself for the first time in a long time, and how he chose to have a positive perspective of that. So I must say I was very encouraged by hearing Steve Jobs say that. And as much as I have not been fired from my career, in a way I do feel fired. I feel fired from the respect of when I came back from maternity leave, I felt so empty. I felt so unable and unwilling to get back into the game, that became so strong, and it disqualified me from even attempting to get back. So in a way I feel like I fired myself, or God fired me, whatever you want to call it. But the point of the matter is I'm now in a new space where I'm feeling extremely unsure of myself, and I feel like I'm touching things and I feel like I'm not yet having traction. So that is very frustrating. Then at the back of my mind, that red devil again reminds me, oh, your savings are going to run out. You're not going to be able to sustain your life. The people that are depending on you, you're going to let them down. So that's scary. Then there's been a lot of good training, some of it being provided by the agency, others are voluntarily added on myself, and some are just find stuff on Mind Valley, on YouTube, motivational talks, different types of training, which has been so amazing. So that's one of the positives of this journey, that I get to choose my own development. And I constantly have to pinch myself when I'm driving to the office, because my office is so close to my house. It's in Kailami. I'm like, this is what I wanted. So I can't believe that I'm leaving this. When I'm driving around and I get to see the views of nature around me, I get to choose when I arrive at the office. All of that stuff is awesome. Then came the time when now I started having my listings, and that was so amazing and exciting to start engaging with sellers and buyers. And my listings didn't really derive a great financial reward yet for me. And TD Jakes, in one of the messages I was listening to on TBN, said, you know, when you go through a transition and you go through those kind of losses, you lose a deal or you lose whatever, see it as a business expense and a contribution towards your learning. So I think I am going through that. I think I'm sowing seeds into this business, and I must say it's hard, because when you think you've clinched a deal, then you lose a deal after you've put a lot of effort. And unlike a salary where at least you get rewarded for the effort, in this business there's no reward for effort. You either have the deal, you get rewarded when you've clinched the deal. So no matter how many times you've taken clients for viewings, how much petrol you've used, how much airtime you've used, if the deal was scored by someone else, you've lost out. So those have been hard-hitting realities for me. But I think I've reveled in the fact that for the first time in a long time, I feel alive. Like I feel so stimulated by the things that I'm learning on a daily basis. And I must be honest with you, I'm enjoying the journey. I'm even enjoying going back to that space which I was last in a long while, where I feel like I'm serving the greater good, you know? I'm serving my clients' needs, no matter what the financial benefit for me is going to be. So if a client contacts me and wants a property and I don't have such a listing, I go over and above to try and explore options for them, whether it's within my company or out in the open market. So irrespective of who financially benefits from the deal, my interest is to make the client happy and to meet the client's needs. And I've enjoyed, you know, the response of people when I've changed my attitude from just being this salesperson who's just after commission to being a servant of my client and to serve my client's needs. So that has been quite a breath of fresh air for me to get back to that space. So the 3 months have been challenging. I don't yet have a clear routine worked out. I'm busy now trying to score more stock, and I'm also helping clients because it is a buyer's market. I am making deals with other agents if I've got lucrative buyers that I can share commission with those agents. And it's very foggy. I'm not going to lie. And I'm scared, and I don't like to not be in control. So of not knowing where tomorrow's going to lead me, but that's where I'm at right now. But what it has done phenomenally for me is reconnecting me to God, you know? And I feel like I've been numb and disconnected from God, and having to trust a higher power and relinquish control of my life to a higher power is both nice and scary. Because naturally I am those people that have a plan A, B, C, D, and then God is plan E, you know, and he's just teaching me to depend on him. And I feel like it's reviving me spiritually, that dependence on God. And I've struggled with being vulnerable for a long time, even in my marriage, in just my relationships with people. So when I find myself just being in this situation I'm in, I was listening to Brene Brown, who teaches about shame and vulnerability. And she was talking about how without vulnerability, there is no, I think, creativity. And without, I forgot, but I've written it somewhere. I'll share the quote again. It's from a Netflix documentary on courage that she did. So it was so insightful. So that's become my bread and butter. Those kind of talks and input from both mentors that I know on a one-to-one basis and those that are on YouTube, out in the airwaves across the world. So it's really been a blessing. So I am at a space now where I don't know where I'm going to end up. Tasha Cobbs, one of my favorite gospel singers, speaks about living in the fog with God and being comfortable in the fog. And she shares a testimony of how God called her to move to Atlanta in 2006. And ironically, 7 years later, 7 being the number of completion, interestingly enough, her international ministry took off. But it was from the obedience 7 years prior to that that led her on the journey of discovering her true calling. So I guess I'm inspired by that, and I'm praying and hoping that that's what's happening with me. So those who will be offended by my references to God and Jesus, unfortunately, I cannot help it. That's part of who I am. I am a Jesus Christ, God of the Bible follower. And those references are part of my daily bread, and it's my source, and I am not ashamed. And unfortunately, it will be part of this channel and what I share with you. So I am unsure as it is about myself and about the fruits of my labor and my financial position. I press on because I trust my God. And I know that everything that I'm going through, the experiences daily, are just building me up, and they are seeds towards something greater. So watch this space. Thank you for your time, and have a great day further.